1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everyone knew the Earth was flat. Imagine what? No.
What the hell is that?
It's where you've been living this whole time.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first video from Unearthing 5D Reality, the YouTube channel. As hopefully everybody knows here, we do have a podcast at www.unearthing5dreality.com where we cover a broad spectrum of topics. On this channel, the main goal is to be debunking the debunkers of the flat Earth. So we've got a lot of people running around. We've got McToon. We've got Simon Dan. We've got Globeman. We've got Globeymcglobeface, which will be featured today. Globeymcglobeface will be who is being debunked today. We just went on a 3-hour live stream with Jeranism yesterday, and during it we reacted to Globey's TikToks that he has been just pumping out. This dude loves me, okay? He's been just pumping out video and video and video about me. So we're going to be reacting and showing the clip from yesterday where all three of us reacted to Globeymcglobeface's video, as well as what we want from you guys. We just need you guys to subscribe. We hope that you guys will like the video, leave a comment, interact, and share the video so that we can grow this channel, because that's going to be mostly what we do here. We'll do other topics probably where we explain things about Flat Earth, longer videos that can't go on TikTok, because if you didn't know, we can only do 3 minutes on TikTok. So that's what this channel is going to be for. So make sure you share this channel with anybody that you want the truth to get out to. But other than that, I wanted the intro to be short and sweet. I will let Derek close out the intro, and I hope you guys enjoy the clip.
Yeah, welcome in everybody to the first ever YouTube for Unearthing 5D Reality. The person we're going to premiere today is well deserved. They've been attacking Caleb and I for well over a year now. They don't attack the substance of our arguments. They attack character, because what these people rely on is they want you to not give us the time of day before you figure out that we're right. So they want you to discredit us before you even get a chance to think about it. They're appealing to ignorance, and that's what we're going to do. We don't think there's enough people pointing out how fallacious their arguments are, why fallacious arguments are not acceptable, and how if this were a formal debate and taken seriously, these people wouldn't have a leg to stand on, because all of their arguments are based off of fallacies. And that's what we're going to expose today. We're going to teach you what fallacies are. We're going to teach you show you how these people do nothing but attack character, and we're going to give them a little bit of a taste of their own medicine. As Caleb said earlier, we need your support. We don't make these videos to not be seen, guys. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, interact with this page, and interact with our podcast page and our TikToks, because more people need to see this message. The more people who do see this message, the faster the world's going to change. And if you want the world to change, you need to be the change you want to see in the world. And if all you can do is hit like and subscribe, then please just do that.
Okay, hope you guys enjoy the clip. We will see you after.
Good job of proving the flat Earth. All right, let me find Caleb's video here. TikTok, and oh boy, I don't like to see that guy's face.
I can't believe this guy confidently posted this, honestly.
But talking about just the second law of thermodynamics makes these people squirm, bro. It's my favorite thing to bring up with them. When I brought it up with Globey, I was like, Globey, if the second law of thermodynamics necessitates that low pressure systems seek high pressure systems violently,
it doesn't.
Stop it. Get some help.
How are we having a negative 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum sitting next to our atmospheric pressure?
Impossible.
And you know what he invoked? Do you know what? I asked him for a terrestrial example. So an example that is repeatable, observable on Earth of gas not needing a container. When you even look at the definition of gas pressure, it's the literal pressure that's being exerted on the container. Let me get it. It said, look at the weather.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
The exact thing that is in question he invoked.
So weather's not in question.
It was crazy. And I
weather's not in question.
like, okay, well, that's kind of what is in question. You're kind of reifying the exact thing which is in question.
Caleb, you're not using the fallacies even correctly. You're not even using the right one.
What the hell?
Reification is when you use an abstract idea and pass it off as fact. Weather isn't abstract. The atmosphere isn't abstract. You specifically asked me for terrestrial observation showing high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier.
West.
That was your request. That's what I provided.
Wait, what?
A terrestrial observation that's repeatable and observable.
You cannot use. So, what is that fallacy actually called? If you got that right, what is the fallacy?
It's a reification fallacy or begging the question fallacy. It's kind of similar, both of them.
Yeah, I guess it would be begging the question, which is you've already. Yeah, you can't use.
But he is also reifying the atmosphere sitting next to a vacuum, so it is a reification fallacy. I'm not using that wrong.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, and so check it out. They will point out wind, right? They'll say weather is a perfect example of how a high pressure system can exist next to a low pressure system. Storms have wind, and that wind is caused by the equalizing of that pressure.
Right.
So
it's actually the moving of the lesser.
Wind is the moving of the high pressure to the low pressure. That's what wind is.
Right.
And so all they're doing is showing you an example of how high pressure moves to low pressure without understanding that storms don't last forever.
Right.
Eventually the pressure equalizes and the wind stops. That's what would happen around us. Where's all this air coming from that's like that? Our atmosphere.
Have you heard the latest from Simon Dan? Simon Dan has the answer of why the atmosphere doesn't.
Let's hear it.
Because it's not going at the escape velocity. So now he says,
my gosh.
He says it says the atmosphere needs to be moving at escape velocity in order to leave the Earth. It's like, dude, it's not trying to get into orbit.
I want to see. You know what I would pay? I would pay to see Simon Dan debate. The dude has to. He won't do anything. YouTube videos every 5 seconds as he's talking because he's so nervous. He won't look at the camera as he's making.
I think he's got a teleprompter.
I want to debate with Simon Dan. I really would.
You heard it here first, Simon Dan.
Simon Dan.
Caleb wants to debate you live, but we know that you don't do live debates.
Let's go. Everybody blow up Simon Dan's comment section. Tell him I want to debate with him.
Caleb wants it. He wants the battle royale. You can do it on my channel. I'll be a mod if you want. So let's continue watching this one here anyways.
Let's continue.
Thank you very much. Another super chat from Alan.
But isn't this crazy? Is this not crazy how confidently this dude is saying weather when I say that our atmosphere, which it contains our weather system, can't sit next to a
Hopefully
vacuum.
people understand what you're saying. Is that so what he's looking for is that if there's gas pressure that can exist next to a vacuum without a container, or even, or you can have pressure without a container, then show us. And they say, well, the atmosphere. Well, that's not an answer. You can't
you're reifying the exact thing, the exact subject, which is in question.
Especially if there's no other example of it. If there's no other example of it,
there's none.
Right. So then the only choice is
they'll try to invoke gases that are heavier than nitrogen and oxygen, which make up our atmosphere. They'll try to invoke something like that. But again, you are in our atmosphere. It's another reification fallacy.
Right.
Like, I'm not arguing that there's a gradient to our atmosphere. I'm arguing that you can't have a gradient without a container.
Right. Yep.
And so it's just a lack of understanding. It's an argument from incredulity.
Yeah. And it's just because they can't, again, this is one where I guess I understand that they can never admit this one. So it's not one that you're going to ever have success with because it literally proves they can't be right. So,
but it's a great way to show that they're not being logically honest.
Yep. I say bring 100%. It up every time, especially in any debate.
Yep. And when anybody talks about this atmospheric pressure and they believe it's the actual weight of the air being pulled down over your head, just ask them if you could measure it in any direction because it doesn't need to go down. A barometer goes down because that's how it's designed. It's measuring the downward flux of the air pressure, but you could turn it sideways and get the same exact result. You could flip it upside down and get the same exact result. It does not need to be downward. And if gravity was pulling the atmosphere down and that's all air pressure is, it would only work in one direction. It would have to because gravity is one directional. Air pressure is not. So that disproves this entire argument like that.
Absolutely. And they just don't get it because they want to say like, oh, there's a gradient and then it goes all the way really thin. And then the thinness sits next to, it's like, okay, but is there more pressure at the thinness than there is in the space? Yes. Okay. Then that would equalize. Now it's next to more atmosphere. That would equalize. And it would just chomp on down until it eliminated all the atmosphere from Earth. It cannot be that it sits next to. And I know they need it. They need it because we need to spin and we need to fly through space and never be impeded and never slow down. And so they need this magical place of a vacuum, which I don't even think exists, like they say anyway. So Flatter Day, March 18th, northbound Equinox celebration. It's a potluck at 12 noon. Mark Sargent will be the special guest down at Sunset Beach, California. Nice to have you, Renee. Thank you for posting that. All right, let's continue on with McGlobers.
Observation showing high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. That was your request. That's what I provided.
No, yeah, but if we
so bad
again, and this is the same thing. If you said to somebody, "Well, I want an example of something that's a sphere that keeps water attached to the outside," and they kept saying the Earth. No. I'm looking for another example. It's the same thing. Perfect example. They just don't get it. They're like, "No, the Earth." Yeah, we're trying to prove that this is an example.
Actually, during a debate, I went on a 2v1 debate with him. He had Globeman and Globeymcglobeface, and he actually invoked the ocean as well, because the ocean has a gradient based on the pressure of the water that's sitting on top of it. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's also a reification fallacy, because I'm saying that the ocean is contained by the Antarctic wall that encompasses us, that contains the water. Right. You're saying that water's just bending 8 inches per mile squared at the surface because of this freaking crap called gravity that you can't even define.
No. And you asked even Neil deGrasse Tyson, what is gravity? What is gravity? We don't know. We don't know what it is.
I always say that. Like, even Neil deGrasse Tyson, your main astrophysicist, the portrait model, will admit that he has no idea what gravity is. So why are you acting like you know?
Yeah, they just need it because it really, and again, that Walter Llewellyn guy, he points out that even on, you pointed out in your gravity video, that even on scales that are thousands of kilometers, that the acting body is electromagnetism, not gravity. Doesn't invoke gravity until you get to planet-sized things. Well, we're not planet-sized. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
A terrestrial observation that's repeatable and observable by everybody. There is no physical barrier surrounding a high-pressure weather system.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yeah, according to your belief.
Dude.
There's also no physical barrier.
Like, I don't know if he understands the argument and he's just trying to mislead the really dumb people, or if he's actually this dumb and he doesn't see the problem with his argument. Most
people that watch him are going to be really dumb. So he's just catering to them. It's like Simon Dan. At this point, Simon Dan doesn't even do any work anymore. He just lies and gets on this thing and just kind of makes things up and then reads off a teleprompter.
Yeah.
And you know about the tattoos on his arm, right? I'm sorry. I just have to bring it up all the time. But I find it very, very strange that he has men's names tattooed on his arm. So that's why I call him Byman Dan, because
probably somebody who's paying him.
Well, he's got Newton and Galileo and
no, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. Yes.
Oh, I would love to see that. That is hilarious.
Dude, he has Newton, Galileo, Copernicus, their names. I'm like, dude, if I asked every guy in the world, do you have guys' names tattooed on you that are not your family? They cannot be your family. You'd get Simon Dan, and that's about it. I mean,
one guy
is going to have that. I mean, maybe there's somebody who has like a Shaquille O'Neal tattoo on him, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
So because there's a couple of those, but I would have problems with them too.
Weird.
Still a little weird. I'm sure his wife's real happy with that. What's that guy's name? Oh, Galileo's on your arm, and who else? Oh, Newton. Cool.
Containing water, which, as we know, gets higher pressure as we go deeper. I gave you that example too. No physical barrier.
There is a physical barrier.
Dude, I can't do it. This is the level of intellectual honesty that we deal with on TikTok. It is hilarious.
What does he mean there's no barrier in the ocean? There is, even in their model. It still has sides of the water is held in.
Yeah. Dude, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
According to you, the water should spontaneously burst from high pressure to low pressure. By the way, you keep saying it goes from low pressure to high pressure. You've said it several times over the last 3 days.
The difference is when you're talking about that is like you could take the water and put it next to a vacuum and it boils away, right? That's what happens. So he's like
boils in a vacuum.
Yeah, he's very confused. He's just
he doesn't care to understand that. He just wants to mislead his following.
No.
Derek, by the way, your connection's really bad.
Is it bad again?
Yeah, it's red.
See if you can bring it back.
So how come when you ask me for an example of something terrestrial and I give it to you, you tell me I'm reifying it by using something terrestrial?
No, you don't understand how it works. When you cannot use, it's like the other thing is, remember when we grew up, I don't know about you guys, but I was taught that when you're defining a word, you can never use the word in its definition.
Boom, roasted.
Right. So if somebody asks you,
he missed that day.
He missed that day, guys. This is what you're doing. If somebody asks you to prove the globe, you can't just say globe. Oh, yeah. Good for you. All right.
I then went on to tell you that the second law of thermodynamics doesn't even apply to the entire Earth's atmosphere because it states the entropy of an isolated system never decreases. The globe is not an isolated system. There's heat transfer in and out all the time, especially from the sun. So you invoke the second law of thermodynamics as proof.
And we probably don't even need to call it that anymore. Probably because that gives them an out, right? So we don't need to, you can just call it that.
That's what I learned from you when I was asking you the other day. I'm going to stop saying that. I'm not even going to say like the law of fluid mechanics because that also says that low pressure systems seek high pressure systems. I'm just going to say from now on that low pressure systems seek high pressure systems.
And if they don't, then show us an example.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wish I could change, but it still makes sense to anybody that's being logical.
Right. And again, it's just that's the problem is if you don't believe that, if we're not going to start from that argument point, then show me an example where that doesn't happen. And if they can't, if they show you,
literally also admit that our atmosphere is leaking into space. So they
better talk to Simon Dan because it's not going at the escape velocity. So I don't know how that's happening.
Roasted.
Can't happen.
Such a clown, bro. Like,
escape velocity. It's not trying to get into orbit. We're not sending it on a mission to Mars.
That's what I'm saying. Over time, as even like when we talk to that physics PhD, like I cannot like we were talking about the Michelson-Morley experiment, and again, I think did we talk about this outside the stream with the length contraction? He didn't realize that was the answer for the apparatus not picking up the orbit of the sun. Right. I don't believe you. That was the greatest failed experiment of all time, and the exact reason that the general theory of relativity and the special theory of relativity were created, and you don't understand the explanation of why we didn't pick up the fringe shift.
See, but that's never going to be taught in school, right? It's never going to be taught in college. Of
course not.
Right. So this is a problem. It's like when I saw Joe Rogan ask Neil deGrasse Tyson, well, do you know the curvature formula? And he's like, what do you mean? He said, the curvature formula. He's like, the gravity formula? He's like, no, the curvature of the Earth. And Neil deGrasse Tyson has no idea. And that's because they've gone way past that when they get to astrophysics class. They're not going to cover the shape of the Earth. You have to already have assumed that the Earth is a ball. And then from there, they can teach you all the astrophysics they want. But they're not going to starting at step one by like, let's talk about the curvature. They don't want anybody looking into the curvature at all. So they just don't even mention it. Let's keep going.
The globe can't exist because it supposedly violates that law. When I tell you that the law doesn't apply, you said it does apply because Earth's a closed system with a dome. So you beg the question. Not me.
Stop it.
So again, for like the 100th time, whenever you want a one-on-one, let's just do it. I don't know, what we're waiting for here.
All right, guys. I hope that was extremely obvious, that 15-minute clip from Jaronism's live stream, basically of us just destroying Globey's video. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, you've got to like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, I didn't want the outro to be too long. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want us to do more long-length videos like this, or you want us to debunk specific people, again, I'll just remind you to leave a comment in the comment section. Turn on the notification bells for our live streams here and our YouTube videos here, because we might start doing debates here as well, because we know what's going on with the TikTok censorship. But other than that, Derek, you got anything for the outro?
Yes, guys, please do like, share, subscribe. We want to continue doing this. It's a long time coming. These people are about to get what they've been dishing out the entire time. And we're going to do it in a very respectful, elegant, but extremely funny way. So you are going to want to hit that subscribe and get notifications to when we come online, because we are going to deconstruct and dismantle every global argument and all of the people who've chosen to dedicate their lives to attacking the truth. So, we really hope you enjoy the ride we're about to go on, because it's going to change everything. Thanks for coming in, guys. We'll see you later.